How to be happy. Now, you can probably tell from the title of the video and that statement that this is going to be a little bit more of a philosophical type video, but because happiness is so subjective and unique to you and your own experiences, unfortunately, this won't be a tutorial on happiness and how to get the elusive treasure that is happiness. It's going to be more so a documentation of my journey towards happiness, and I thought that it would be really nice to share that with you guys. So having said that, I won't have a lot of evidence for everything that I'm going to be saying, but I think that with happiness, there has to be a little bit of, or well, a lot of intuition involved. Okay, I'm so sorry. I had to turn on the AC. It's really freaking hot in here, and I don't want to look like a sweaty mess in this video. But if you're seeing this video, maybe the YouTube algorithm has something in store for you, or you've been watching a lot of mental health content, because that's what I make here on my channel. And you may or may not know that I'm actually taking sertraline. So what is someone that's taking an antidepressant doing talking about happiness, right? But honestly, before I got professional help, I felt like the world was so gray. I felt like Timmy Turner in that one episode of Fairly Odd Parents where he's just like a gray blob wandering around, and everything was grayscale. And that's how depression felt for me, except with unaliving thoughts, just it was not a fun time. But I felt like I was in autopilot, and I didn't enjoy doing the things that used to make me really happy, like doing yoga and dancing and stuff like that. I just stopped doing it because I didn't want to anymore, even though it made me happy. And so when I took sertraline and everything was great, I was so excited because that meant that there was hope. And I feel like you can probably tell in that video, I'm very hopeful. But I was reading a book by a psychiatrist named James Gordon, I think. But he's a really big influential figure and very prestigious and all of that. But he was talking about psychiatry and the way we go about mental health in this country. And he brought up a really interesting flaw with psychiatry. He mentioned something along the lines of, we use medication to soothe the symptoms of our trauma without actually trying to identify and resolve the source or the root of our trauma. And that was really revolutionary for me because I felt like it made me feel like, well, my journey to mental health isn't necessarily over, and which is weird. I feel like normally that would be a little bit depressing, why am I not happy yet? But it made me feel like I could be happier. And full disclosure, I actually do feel really happy right now. I feel very content with my life as far as what happiness is for me. But I think I was kind of limiting myself by thinking that because, why can't I be happier, I was lucky enough to really take therapy seriously. And when I got medication and started taking it finally, I was still going to therapy and I was doing a lot of work to identify sources of trauma and triggers and develop coping mechanisms, but I'm still terrified of actually confronting my trauma, and that is probably one of my biggest obstacles between me and actual happiness, But this video is not about me tackling my trauma. I am not there yet. I am not ready. This video is about being happy. And that's something you can do even if you're not medicated. And even if you're not mentally ill, you can always be happier. But before we get there, let's talk about what happiness is, or at least what we'll be referring to as happiness in the context of this video. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there's not a lot of research about happiness. So not a lot of it is going to be set in stone definitions, unfortunately. And honestly, I had to do a lot of reflecting on my own definitions of happiness for making the script for this video, because guys, I'm professional now. I made a script. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. But in my research, I did find this definition of happiness from a researcher. I think she was a psychiatrist as well, but don't quote me on that. Sonia Lumbormirsky. Please don't drag me for mispronouncing that. But she defines happiness as the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being combined with a sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. So with that definition, happiness must mean that you are doing things that make you feel like your life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile, or doing things that make you experience a feeling of joy or contentment. I know, I'm sorry. That was very redundant, but I'm just trying to talk about it in the same way that I went through these motions. But before we even get to that part of it, we need to define what makes us happy. So what makes you feel like this life is worth living? In this other book that I was reading, Atomic Habits, I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. It's everywhere over YouTube. But the author, James Clear, was talking about the way that we need to actually define our goals. And we don't achieve most of our goals because we don't accurately define them. And so he recommends, instead of just stating the change that you want to make it a part of your identity so that it becomes a part of who you are. So for example, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, you would say, I want to be healthy. Well, who is a healthy person? I want to be the kind of person that wakes up in the morning and does yoga for at least 10 minutes. I want to be the kind of person that is happy in her own skin. I want to be the kind of person that feels confident and feels strong. So instead of working towards a goal that is kind of fleeting, once you lose the weight, you've technically completed the goal, your mindset changes and you can now have a goal that integrates into your personality. And again, this is about being happy. So what does your life look like if you are happy? For me, my life looks like I wake up in the morning and I do yoga and I eat a really nutritious breakfast and I'm very content with my body. I'm excited about how strong it is, and I'm spending a lot of time with my family and friends, and it's quality time, not just, sitting next to each other with our phones or something like that. And it's that kind of definite language that can help you figure out what you need to spend your time doing, which I guess is step 2. You need to prioritize your time because it's the most important thing in your life. You don't get it back. It is not renewable. And anyone that is wasting your time, you need to get them out of there. They don't belong anymore. Eli Abdal is another YouTuber, and he mentioned in one of his videos that you should be trying to enjoy 80% of the things that you do. 80% of the things that you do should be the thing that you most want to be doing in that moment. Now, that's easier said than done, but if we're using the changes that we want to integrate into our identity, then we can use that to guide the things that would make us happy. But that's why we're here. We want to identify the things that make us happy. So I guess we're still not there yet. So let's start with the things that make us unhappy. Make a list of things that are stressing you out or things that you maybe wish were different, and see if maybe any of those things are things that you could possibly change. So for me, I hate driving. I'm in the car for like almost 4 hours every day to get to work, and honestly it kind of sucks because I love my job, but they don't pay me enough to do that. So unfortunately, because it isn't actually making me happier, it's adding more stress to my life, and I can change that. I'm looking for other jobs. I am unhappy with my body. A lot of the times I look in the mirror and I can't point out anything good about it. And it's crazy because I don't see anyone else's body that way, but I would like to be kinder to my body and treat it with the love and care that it deserves, because it's doing so much for me. It's always trying to keep me alive even when I don't necessarily want to be, and it deserves to be hydrated and well nourished. And speaking of nourishment, I would like to heal my relationship with food, because yikes, that one we're gonna have to need to go over in therapy for sure. I want to know more. I want to spend more time with my family and friends. I want to be able to better provide for my family. I want to be able to treat my friends like absolute princes and princesses, and I wish I could volunteer more, and I guess lastly, I wish I could do yoga more. I don't do that enough, even though I freaking love it. And so now it comes down to simple problem solving. Is there anything on that list that you can stop doing? What can you work towards so that there are less stressors or less things that are making you unhappy in your life, therefore in theory making you happier because there's less things taking away from that happiness? Honestly, I kind of feel like I'm like mansplaining to you guys. Do you feel that way? I'm sorry. That's not my intention. I'm like trying to get everything that I wrote down. I just want to do a good job. So I guess step 3 is identifying what makes you unhappy and trying to boot it out of your life. And step 4, now we start to work towards the kind of person you want to be, because you've kind of made space by, you know, prioritizing your time and stop doing things that are making you unhappy. Now you have space for things that are going to make you happy. So going back to the identity that you want to have, the person you want to be, what makes you happy. For me, I want to spend more time, like I've been mentioning, doing yoga. Like I haven't done yoga this whole week, and can you tell it's breaking me? Like I miss it so much, but I also like love doing YouTube, and you guys are always so kind. So I like really wanted to do this, and I actually like made it into like a podcast thing that I was going to try to make super artsy, but it was taking way too long to edit, and I was like, I just want to get something out. So I decided that I would just redo it, and maybe I'll still like make it a little bit creative here and there. But yeah, I want to do yoga more. I want to wake up and do yoga. I want to correct my posture, which I've been working on. I've been doing exercises that improve my posture. I want to do more creative things. I'm also working on that. I'm making this video. And also I've been trying to dedicate a little bit more time to modeling, because honestly, modeling is like low-key paying the bills in LA. I want to learn more, so I spend quite a bit of time reading and listening to audiobooks and podcasts and reading articles, and I try to really expand my horizon so that I can be a sponge of knowledge. I want to travel more. I went to Chicago recently since I'm vaccinated. Okay, so honestly, I'm running out of daylight hours, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Also, the camera's died like 3 times, so we're gonna bring it all in now. That's what I get for talking too damn much. But that's pretty much, I guess, all I really have anyway. Define who you want to be, prioritize your time, identify what makes you unhappy, and try to eliminate things that make you unhappy, and identify what makes you happy, and then try to do the things that make you happy. And I don't know if this is even going to be useful, but this was like such a game changer for me, as far as, you know, philosophy wise and just a way to view my life. I now feel like happiness isn't a destination anymore. It's a journey, and it's something that I can work towards, and I can always be happier, and you can always be happier. But I hope that if nothing else, this video encourages you to prioritize your time and start spending it doing the things that you want to be doing, because you never get time back, and you're the most important person in your life, so your time should be the most important, and you should be most respectful of your own time, you know? So try to do things that make you happy more often, and try to do things that make you feel like your life is good and meaningful and worthwhile. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you a billion for your continued support. I really appreciate every single kind comment that you guys leave. It genuinely means a lot to me. Like, you can literally ask my boyfriend every single time I get a kind comment, or like literally any comment. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at what this person said. They said whatever. And yeah, it genuinely makes my day. So thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And don't forget to drink your water, take your vitamins, eat a nutritious meal, and cancel plans with people who are mentally draining. Have a great day, guys. Bye.